Yo, welcome to Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. We got a big show for y'all today. We talking boxing again. You know we got Tion here. We got Byron here. Big time show, Canelo Alvarez versus William Scull. But before we get into that, make sure you go on the Spectator Sporting YouTube page, subscribe. You can also go to Spotify, subscribe, listen to it while you're riding in your car. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate all the love. We love when you tell us we wrong as well, too. Canelo Alvarez defeated William Scull in another unanimous decision to improve his record to 63-2-2. The IBF, WBA, WBO world champion now has confirmed September 12th against yours truly, Bud Crawford. William Scull suffers his first loss, falling to 23-1, as he did last all 12 rounds with the future Hall of Famer. And some say the fight was not scored correctly as it should have been scored. So, Tion, talk about Canelo Alvarez once again in the ring. I don't know when his last time he had a knockout. It's been 7 fights now?
Last knockout victory was against Caleb Plant in 2021.
So it's been a lot of fights ever since then. But
Okay. Oh, it's funny that you say Caleb Plant. So we have
7 straight fights.
Without
a knockout victory.
Yes.
We have
and with the opponents he's been facing.
Starting with William Scull, we got William Scull, Jermell Charlo, John Ryder, Triple G, Dimitri Bivol. Before Bivol put us all on notice, we kind of didn't, most of us, I wasn't as high on Bivol. I didn't have as much knowledge on Bivol before Canelo fought him. So I thought that was a winnable fight. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Caleb Plant, great fighter. I like his boxing style. I like him as a person. Winnable fight. Billy Joe Saunders, Anvi Yildirim, and Sergey Kovalev. The last 10 fights for Canelo Alvarez have been winnable fights.
Okay, yeah. Like you knew
I
he was
just
going
named his last 10 opponents. Besides Bivol, like I said, who we found out how great he was later, everybody thought that these were winnable fights. Shame on you, Canelo. You picked the opponent who you knew couldn't beat you. And what ended up happening was he fought the fight of his life.
Yeah.
He made it so awkward for you. He made you actually look worse than you actually did. So now anybody who ever had a thought that Bud had no chance in this fight, you helped change their mind by picking a terrible opponent. By the stroke of luck, This dude was so awkward. He did what Jermell Charlo should have did. He fought the fight that Jermell Charlo should have fought. And if Jermell Charlo, even with the lackluster activity, if Jermell Charlo could have hit Canelo with some of these shots and made it awkward for Canelo in this way, we might have been talking about Jermell Charlo pulling off a draw.
It would have been a lot more entertaining.
Yeah. That's it for Canelo?
You made me think that you might be light work for Terence Crawford.
Ooh.
And I am a Canelo fan as well. Like, y'all go check the stats. So it's no bias with me.
I said it first.
You made me feel like you might be light work now.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? So like I'm feeling real uncomfortable, Carrot Top. What are you doing? You losing one of your biggest fans, because I am one of them. The fighter selection, it just is what it is at this point. So I'm looking past that. I still am a fan of the art of boxing, and when you want to fight, you are a hell of a fighter. But when do you want to fight? Because you can't push yourself against John Ryder.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to find out September 12th. We're going to find out what it is. And then he was in an interview saying, I hope Bud doesn't fight like William Scull. So already those seeds might have been planted. Hadi, talk to me about Canelo Alvarez versus William Scull. What did you see in this fight?
Well, yeah, in William Scull's previous fight, he did lots of running versus Vladimir Shishkin. Okay, so it's no surprise. As Shishkin was robbed of the IBF title, he actually won that fight. And Shishkin, who was trained by Sugar Hill Stewart, he's 2 inches taller than William Scull, and he threw over 500 punches in that fight, okay? And clearly the IBF sanctioning body is in love with Canelo Alvarez as they had the top 2 contenders at the Super Middleweight Division ranked below the top 10, Diego Pacheco and Christian Mbili, okay? The 6'4" Pacheco, he wouldn't run from Canelo Alvarez. And the highly active pressure fighter, the boogeyman of the 168-pound division, Christian Mbili, all he knows how to do is go forward. He doesn't fight off his back foot. All he does is come forward. So those fights would have been much more entertaining, okay? And so...
But he could have lost those.
Yeah. Right. So they was like, no, we're not going to do that. We finna just magically make William Scull appear as IBF title holder and things like that. And so,
stupid.
And when has David Benavidez ever ran in a fight? I've never seen him run in a fight. Okay.
Always comes forward.
And the Mexican Monsters promoter, Samson Lekowicz, didn't run when Canelo Alvarez said he'll take $150 million to fight David Benavidez, okay? The promoter's like, hey, you know what? Now we got a number. We can make this fight happen, but yeah, I guess he was bluffing. He said 150 million. It was a big bluff because Benavidez people was going to try to actually come up with that number or get close to that number. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So the IBF was in cahoots with Canelo's team to create this William Scull fight, and it's it just...
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, listen. They did not want Canelo losing before September 12th. Okay, that's what it is. That's
too much money on the line.
And that's the thing. It was a tune-up fight, but it's like you picked a tune-up fighter who was more than a tune-up fighter that night.
Yeah.
And you actually hurt your stock in the process.
Yes. And Bud Crawford was in attendance. Byron, talk to me about this Canelo fight.
I just want to go back to Friday. Antonio Tarver.
Oh Lord,
really hates Devin Haney. So in the first round of the Devin Haney fight, we had Antonio Tarver. He really doesn't like Devin Haney. Doesn't like the fact that he's an undisputed fighter, even though Antonio Tarver ain't never been an undisputed fighter, but. He was very critical of his legs. He was very critical of, he just wasn't moving right. He
was overly aggressive.
Not like my lips. My lips got Osterine and they moving right. And Devin Haney wasn't moving right. And him and Jim Lampley, they educated me a little bit. They let me know what the lowest CompuBox, CompuBox as far as punches thrown in a 12-round fight. It was 450. And they were really, really, really banking on Devin Haney and Ramirez breaking that record. And then look at God. A day later.
Won't he do it?
Canelo Alvarez.
Won't he will?
And William Scull. Because it was just his feet. It was his feet. It was his feet. They break the record.
His footsies.
Damn.
I have never rooted for Canelo more in a fight in my life than I did Saturday night.
That's wild.
I was in shock. I was screaming, "What are you doing?" My daughter was saying, "Daddy, stop cursing." I could not believe what I was seeing. And I'm sick of this. He ran. He's a fighter. This is boxing. Styles make fights.
That's true.
Just because a fighter decides to get on his horse, there's this thing called cutting off the ring. There's this thing called being aggressive to get your shots in. Like somehow
the ref did step in at one point though and said something about
there was
y'all got to fight.
There were low blows.
And we knew he wasn't talking.
Like Canelo was doing everything he could to slow this man down. Throwing shots at his hips.
He was frustrated. Remember he had one
throwing low blows, but it happened. Even though the decision was what we expected it to be, it happened. Canelo won this fight. I truly felt like this was a guy put in front of him so that he could knock him out.
Yeah, it was.
And I believe it was because it was a setup that he needed.
Yes.
Going into the Bud
Get
Crawford
live
fight.
round. Get live rounds.
To show that he still has it. To show that Canelo pop, at his press conference, you're going to eat something and it's going to be this.
Pause. But yeah.
But it wasn't. Canelo, he didn't. William Scull basically made you look bad.
He did.
In a win.
He did.
And
he did.
being that it was a tailor-made opponent makes it look even worse. Canelo Alvarez looked slow. He didn't really like attack off his jab. It was more lunging shots trying to catch William Scull when he was trying to run away, and it just wasn't a good performance. And like even at the end of the fight with Crawford going in the ring, like I guess Canelo wants not only to pick his opponents, but he also wants to tell the opponents how to fight him. He wants a fight similar to a Rock'em Sock'em Robots type of, two guys in the ring and whoever lands the most body shots win. But
I agree with you.
That's just not boxing. But it's been boxing for Canelo for so long that he thinks it is.
Since Mayweather.
September 12th is coming. September 12th is coming.
Can I just say this one thing, though? I think the foil and the plan was most of these fighters that he's picked, the other 9 fighters that he picked, most of them were willing to stand there and try to fight him.
Yeah.
This dude was not.
But footwork is a skill though. Like
Munguia
and Malunga, they don't have that skill.
They don't have that
skill.
It wasn't just flat out running. Like he was throwing combinations. He was shooting awkward angles. He made Canelo look bad intentionally,
and just
because he wasn't willing to be flat-footed and be a lame duck.
A statue.
This is
a
the new thing in
statuesque
boxing.
target.
When you have a fighter that creates issues in the ring with you, what do? You call them boring. You say they run.
Yeah.
But the thing is, just like Ramirez.
That's true.
Just like Canelo.
That's true.
Cut the ring off.
That's
Make
true.
me stop running.
That's true.
Land significant shots to the body. Take my motor away. Like that I've been knowing that for boxing, watching this sport for 30 years. Yeah. You got somebody that like to run, sell out to the body for the first 6 rounds. Yeah. They'll stop running.
And and that's what Virgil Ortiz did against Madrimov. He went to the body because Madrimov, he runs too.
He runs too.
And he went to the body, and then later rounds he just couldn't keep it up.
But it's not so much running as it is a herky-jerky style, because it's hard for you to time him, and he's in and out, in and out.
And Madrimov naturally has that herky-jerky style.
And it takes a lot of
That's why
cardio,
Terence Crawford, that's why and people's like, well, he made Bud look bad. And I'm like, nah, that dude's just pretty good.
He's a good fighter.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, no doubt.
He's pretty good.
So that fight, obviously, very lackluster fight for Canelo again. But he did get the victory.
Thank God.
He did get the victory. He didn't mess it up. So now we have September 12th. That's a great day. It's marked in the calendar. Can't wait. Byron, what's your thoughts on this? What's your initial thoughts on this fight?
Oh, man. Call off work.
Yeah.
Whatever my daughter needs to keep her attention for a few hours. Man, I'm waiting for this fight. I am like you stands always come in the comment section and you scream this. I stand before you. I am a Bud Crawford fan.
He said I stand before
and you. I'm not a biased Crawford fan. If Crawford was ever guilty of the standage, clown antics that your favorite fighters do, I will call him out just like I'll call out your fighters. Bud Crawford is a man on a mission. He is a man who wants to be great. He can go at 154 and he could make it, he can get unified at 154. He's that good. He's looking at 168 because he sees a duck. And it's a Mexican duck.
That's where it starts.
It's a lot of flavor. It's a lot of flavor in that duck.
Saison.
And I don't want to go into this long-winded, because y'all know how I come. Y'all know how I feel about Canelo. But this Canelo that I saw Saturday will get his ass whooped by Terence Crawford. And don't be surprised if you see him embracing a little of that William Scull. But not, instead of throwing his hands up and dipping out, left hand to the face, left jab to the face, left jab to the face. Canelo gonna eat so many jabs on September 12th. I'm telling you. I said it before, I'll say it now. Easy fucking work. Ooh. Easy work. Easy work. Just like Floyd Mayweather said Canelo was easy work and then proved that he was easy work. Terence Crawford is going to put that stamp on the end of his career. He's easy work for Terence Crawford. And all of you guys saying that, oh, Terence Crawford is too little and too this and too that, he got a longer reach and he's taller. Shut up.
Hey, listen, Adi, you heard Byron's initial. What's your initial thoughts of the September bout between Terence Bud Crawford?
You also thought Haney was gonna lose. Shut up.
And you thought Teofimo was gonna lose.
I'm anti-Tia though.
Okay.
Anti-Tia.
All right.
Yeah, he said anti now.
He got one loss on the Friday night. I got a loss too. Okay?
That's fine.
Canelo Alvarez said, "I have nothing to gain by fighting Terence Crawford and everything to lose." And he also went on to say, "If I beat him, everyone will say he's too small." And I agree with Canelo. Now, Terence Crawford spent nearly a decade of his career at the 140-pound division and 147-pound division.
Yeah.
Now he's moving up to 168-pound division, fighting a man who has a couple of fights at 175 pounds, okay? And no catch weight in sight, not even a catch weight. Even when this first was coming out, I was like, maybe they'll do a catch weight, maybe they'll do 160, it's 164 or something, but he going straight to 168. This is a hell of a tall task for Bud Crawford. But when Canelo looked at the big picture and he realized that Bud Crawford is doing him a huge favor for his legacy, okay? Because without Bud, who does Canelo have?
That's true. That's a good point.
Who does he have?
That's a good point.
Clearly, Canelo's team and the sanctioning bodies don't want him fighting the top two dogs at 168. They don't want him fighting a Diego Pacheco or Christian Mbele. You know, I feel like Canelo could beat those guys, but they don't want to risk it. Those guys are decent. It'll probably be a good fight, but they don't want to risk it against those guys. And he already refused to fight David Benavidez, okay? So without Terence Crawford, Canelo would be fighting another man from a lower division with 3 losses on his record already, Chris Eubanks Jr., okay? He's a decent fighter at 160. He just beat Conor Benn, Conor Benn had to move up 2 weight classes to fight him, and he was coming off a 14-month layoff, okay?
And that was a competitive fight. So Uban, he ain't what he...
That was a very competitive fight. So
it was a competitive fight, but...
Against a smaller man. So that's who Canelo would have to fight if he wasn't fighting Bud right now. Bud is doing him a solid. Really, Canelo needs Bud more than Bud needs Canelo.
No question.
Because Bud could go to 154, like Byron said, and just be a unified 3-time, unified, undisputed champion, which no one's ever done.
And he's been in the block. He said he's going back to 154.
Or he could try to end off at 160. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has so many opportunities. I agree with you.
Canelo.
He has so many opportunities.
Bud is really doing this man a huge favor.
It's Mexican candy. It's sweet.
For his resume and things like that. So, but since Canelo's win versus Caleb Plant in 2021, he lost to Dimitri Bivol. He beat a 40-year-old Triple G. He beat a journeyman John Ryder.
Oh, yeah.
Too Small Charlo. Oh, yeah. Jaime Munguia. The chosen one, Edgar Belunga, and the Cuban Roadrunner, William Scull. He needs Bud.
The Cuban Roadrunner. He's stupid, man. Cuban Roadrunner. Yeah. I'd bring up a good point, though, because no matter the weight classes, Bud Crawford is a hell of a name. That ain't a normal name.
The biggest draw in boxing.
It's just the biggest draw in boxing.
Yeah. So
the guy that everybody says they can beat.
So that's a fair point. Tion, what's your initial thoughts about the September 12th bout between Crawford and Canelo?
We talked about it a second ago. William Scull manipulated the fight, and it made Canelo looks susceptible to everything that Bud does. What I will say was interesting, what I feel about the styles of these fighters, is that they're going to open themselves up to what each other does well. Okay. I think that's interesting. I mean, that's just how I see the fight. Like, they are both good counterpunchers. They can both box in and out. They can both, like, kind of hover inside and kind of do damage and throw different punches, angles. Like, they both kind of do some things well. I wouldn't say similar, but well, like in the same vein as far as being fighters. But I also agree with Byron. I think William Scull just, and I'm not saying Terence Crawford needed it,
right?
But he just dropped a care
jewel.
package
It was a
in
jewel.
his lap.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So use a little bit more
So
footwork.
movement bothers you.
Use a little bit more footwork, especially the side to side, to where you can't set up, because we already know Canelo. As soon as that left hand, whether it's head or body, more than likely the left to the body, because that's kind of his setup. That starts everything he does. Yep. He couldn't get that shot off, and it was just at one point in the fight, he did like this and stood in the middle of the ring because dude was moving around him in circles.
And it wouldn't be and from Bud, it wouldn't be like this timid footwork. It seemed like Skull was kind of like timid. He didn't want to get hit. He Bud is not going to be all timid and shit like that.
Skull was more. Skull
really
was more tactical as far as trying not to get hit. Bud will be more tactical. I'm trying to hit you. This is an angle for me to exploit. Yep. I'm not thinking about what you're trying to do. My offense is what's the premium in my mind. It's not my defense or your offense.
Right.
My offense is premium. So yeah, I think he's gonna take that from Skull. And again, this fight is more interesting to me now. This fight is way more interesting. Initially, as much as I love Bud, initially I'm always gonna say, dog, you moving to 168. Let's just be real. Yeah. And like Adi says, you're fighting a fighter that's more accustomed to fighting at this weight. You know what I'm saying? But man.
Let's also say this.
But man, now like September, a couple more months of training at this weight that Bud's been at. Canelo, you still getting a little bit older, even though Bud's the older fighter. To me, Canelo has more fights, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he does.
So in boxing years, Canelo about 60. Yeah, he's
67 fights.
That's about his age in boxing.
Yeah. Bud Crawford, fact. He walks around at 175.
Yeah, I can believe that.
He walks around at 175. He does.
I can believe it.
He walks around at 175. He's a wrestler, which means he has a very strong core, and he's bigger.
I know.
And I understand. This is what he just did an interview a couple weeks. He just did an interview a couple weeks ago.
I saw the interview
with Shannon, and he said he's wider than me, but he's not bigger than me.
That's it.
I'm taller than him.
He
has a 68-inch reach.
Longer reach.
Bud has a 74-inch reach. Like, he's going to touch him whenever he wants with that jab. And the jab is going to be the centerpiece of this fight.
And as much as people talk about Canelo's athleticism, you talking about probably the best athlete in boxing right now.
On the real. And it's Bud. And Canelo can beat bigger fighters.
You can't say that, Canelo's athleticism is just,
He could beat bigger fighters. No. It's not about Canelo beating somebody with a jab.
Yeah.
Can Canelo beat a fighter that's a better boxer than him?
Only thing, so let me ask y'all a question. So I get it. All the Bud, like I'm gonna play devil's advocate and go to the opposite side. I know Bud is 175, like you say, he's big, he's in shape. I know you saying he got the reach, but he still hasn't been hit by 168-pound boxers.
Agreed.
Could that be how? That's what we got to see.
So.
How is Bud go? I know Bud is strong. If Canelo does land a couple shots, how is Bud gonna respond to that?
Easy.
I think it's gonna be a thing.
You can't knock out William Scull. Shut up. I don't want to hear about your power.
I think it's gonna be a thing.
I
think Byron capping.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be a thing if he could catch you with that left to the body. I'm sorry. It just is.
So what has his left to the body done in the last 8 fights?
When he's been able to set up that punch, it's done the same thing it's done to everybody else.
Did it stop him?
Well, no, not really. No, not really.
Yeah.
But I mean, look what I'm saying. I mean, when has Canelo been enthused to fight?
We're talking
seriously. Let's be honest.
Okay, so if we're
when's
gonna
the last time? Bivol?
If we're gonna base
is that the last fight?
We're gonna base this fight on lore. We're gonna base this fight on lore.
Okay. So how long ago was that?
Then let's go to the fact that
4
Shakur
years ago?
Stevenson said.
Okay.
He said this, that he's seen Terence Crawford in the ring sparring with heavyweights.
Yeah.
And hurting them.
Okay.
Terence Crawford has went on record and said that he never spars people his weight. He always spars people bigger.
Yeah, I know this.
Always.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have to understand this isn't a decision that just came up 2 months ago. I
know this.
He got a championship corner.
Look.
They've all talked about this. He can deal with anything. This is not prime Canelo.
Okay.
This is meat Canelo.
You right.
He meat. This
everybody
is
had, and I'm not saying Bud is capping, but everybody got them stories about what they do in sparring.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Get that the hell out of here. I don't want to hear that. I sparred against a grizzly bear. I got grizzly bear in the back, and every time I'm trying to
some
spar,
of them Uzbekistans, I feel like they
bring the grizzly bear in, and that's how I'm ready for a 250 pounder because the grizzly bear at least 4.
Right.
Like I'm sticking at. Who cares? cares about sparring?
Right.
For real. Dude is 168 for real, and you not. That's a fact. We don't have to
He walks
listen
around-
to videos.
he walks around bigger.
We don't have to listen to leaked videos.
He walks
or
around
nothing.
bigger.
I know. I'm just saying that's what
So
makes it. I'm not just giving it to Terrence.
We can't disregard the fact. Now,
They
if
both
he
could-
walked around
they
at
both could be
160,
true. Both
he
things
walked
could be
around
true.
at 154, then I will have
agree.
credence to everything that you're saying.
I agree.
He's admitted that he's 170 plus.
Yeah, but
this
you don't
fight is
fight
at
at 170
168.
plus.
I understand.
You don't fight
and
at
that's
that
why
weight.
he's
You
taking his
shake.
time to
You
come to his
shake
weight.
that weight to go fight.
Bet
You
the
get
money.
down to 150 to start sparring.
Bet the
You
money.
ain't sparring at 175.
Bet the money.
No, this is what I want to say though.
Just
I think
saying.
This one thing about Canelo that we can't forget. That man has a chin.
He definitely
He
got
does.
a
He has
chin.
a
he do.
chin.
I didn't say it was a knockout.
He
Yeah,
can walk
yeah.
through some of them jabs
Oh,
and
yeah, he
just
can.
just eat some of them jabs and then go to the body.
He gonna
And
get
so,
But
that's
and see,
gonna
this is
be-
why I'm saying interesting because everything I'm playing both sides.
Yeah.
But
They
when
thought
you get
Spence had
hit
a
with
chin,
one of them
too.
butt punches,
They thought Spence
And then
had a
say-
chance.
we saw Canelo get hit with a triple G punch.
you're
and
right. But that was a
he's
diminished
good.
triple. Well, you talking about the first?
I'm talking about the first fight.
go
I'm talking
around.
about the
Oh
first
yeah,
fight.
that yeah. boy.
Yeah,
That's
like,
when I
he
knew he
didn't
had
get
a
hurt
chin.
against Triple
Yeah,
G.
he
Yeah,
had
that's when I
not-
knew he had a chin.
It was prime Canelo too.
Yeah, yeah.
He older too. Like,
Yeah,
come
no,
on,
you're
man.
right.
Man, listen, this is.
It's a lot.
I can't wait for September
a lot.
12th.
Can't wait.
It's a lot going on.
It's busting.
It's a lot.
Just pick him and bet the money.
It's just real quick. So I
crazy.
got real quick. I got a scenario for y'all. So I know this been going around the internet, but I'm gonna go ahead. They
Oh,
wanted us to do it on the
yeah.
show. Who's gonna win? One man or 100 gorillas?
Wait, one
Well,
man
no,
or 100
you
gorillas?
mean
You mean
100
one
gorillas.
gorilla?
One gorilla. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That gorilla
gorilla.
go rip y'all to shreds, fam. Record it, please. When you do
Let
it,
me say
record it.
something. Let me say
At me,
something.
I want to watch y'all look stupid.
Hold on, let me say
I want
something.
to see it.
Let me say something.
Let me just finish my point. I just want to say this real quick. The bite force from a gorilla can destroy every bone in your body. That's number one. The gorilla with one hand can literally crush a human skull. Its bones are so dense that we cannot harm them or even like chip them. Its skin is almost to the point to where we can't pierce it. I'm just talking about a gorilla.
Gorilla
Are
over
y'all
100.
serious? This is so dumb.
I'm just talking about a
I know.
gorilla.
Like, if y'all got kids, go to the fucking zoo. Go to the zoo.
Yo.
This is my right hand to God.
Yo, bro.
I took my daughter to Lincoln Park Zoo.
Yo.
I took her to Lincoln Park Zoo, and I don't know the name of the gorilla they had, but
Bobo.
I didn't walk up to the glass. I was so intimidated by this thing because it was so big.
Terrified.
And I'm just like, and you had the little kids tapping on the glass.
He's 6'3", 450.
And my daughter, like, she wants to get close to the glass, and I'm like, no.
He might go crazy.
Like,
But if you use Osterine,
Right, if you use Osterine,
if you use Osterine,
if Ryan Garcia was allowed 3 months, and hold on.
He said
knock that
Ryan
gorilla out.
Garcia.
If Ryan Garcia,
why it's mad.
if he was allowed 3 months with Osterine and Antonio Tarver, if we got Antonio Tarver's, if Antonio Tarver could talk
going
about
off
the
the
gorilla, if he could just get in there and talk to the gorilla and
over
tell the
with.
gorilla how he wasn't good enough
It's
to
over
face
with.
King Rye.
Oh.
King Rye will
And
rise again.
I'm taking King Rye against all the gorillas. Fuck.
Man, that's funny.
Joe, this.
The only thing the human got, the
Why?
only thing the 100 humans got, think they got advantage because the gorilla might get tired. So it's gonna be some sacrifices. So about 40 of them gonna die.
No,
and
you know,
maybe-
it's gonna. Let's be real.
I hope they put it on
Since
pay-per-view
we
so
just
I
on
can
it real
watch
quick,
this
if we being completely realistic, when the gorilla grabs the first person and uses him as a baseball bat to beat the other like 6 people,
Yeah, that's true.
40 people that see that are gonna run off the top.
They out of there. They out
So
of there.
now you only dealing with 50.
Listen,
When he grabbed the next person and he grabbed him with his foot, and then he grabbed somebody with a hand, then he do this with the other hand.
I told my own
rest are
daughter,
gonna
if
run.
a gorilla grab you, that is God's will.
Yeah, it's over with.
Nothing I can
You
do.
had a good run. Your memory gonna be
It's
off
nothing
the.
Daddy can do.
The
Nothing.
repass gonna go crazy.
Just wanted to have a little fun. Y'all been watching Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. Shout out to Byron. Shout out to Tion.
Man.
Make sure y'all go on the Spectator Sporting page on YouTube.
No
Subscribe, like, comment. Also go on Spotify. Listen to it while you riding. In the meantime, in between time, we out. Peace.
King Bud.
Holla. No gorillas, bro.